Hello everyone, the second video on Artisan Max, and at the same time it's also about Artisan Pro, because after all, Artisan Max is a combination of Quick Mesh Pro and Artisan Pro. So today I want to demonstrate the various options of doing local adjustments that blend in smoothly with the rest of the image automatically or with a restore. So in processing there are always two types of adjustments. You have the global adjustments and you have the local adjustments. So global adjustments affect an entire image or an entire plane that are separated by distinctive and natural edges. Local adjustments only affect an area within a plane, and that area is not separated by a distinctive and natural edge. So from this it follows that local adjustments, due to the lack of having natural distinctive edges, can only be done correctly if local adjustments will blend in smoothly with their direct adjacent area. So global adjustments affect the entire image or plane, and therefore blending is usually not a problem. Having said this, you can also apply a global adjustment as a local adjustment, and in that case you have to do the blending manually by, for example, doing a restore. Artisan Pro and Artisan Max provide various ways for blending adjustments smoothly and effortlessly. Okay, to give you some examples of planes and with natural distinctive edges, consider this image. So this is an image provided by Leonard Cox, and well, this is the final version. So if you look at this one with the color overlays, you see that this is one plane because it has a very distinctive and natural edge. Okay, that's sky, and the foreground with all the figures, that is another plane. So basically there are only two planes in this image. If you look at an architectural image, for example, like this one, and then I've indicated the various planes with color overlays, see that there are multiple planes, and you have to take that into account. And in this case, those planes are very distinctive, and you can use that to, for example, apply a global adjustment and local adjustments as well, by the way. Okay, so those are examples of planes in a landscape image and in a architectural image. As you can see, architectural images usually have more planes and are a little bit more complicated to mask and to process. So now let me show you the various ways for blending adjustments, local adjustments smoothly and effortlessly within a specific plane. So first of all, if you look at Artisan Max, this is Artisan Pro, by the way, then you have the Pro adjustments. In Artisan Max you can find it under Adjustments, the drop-down list. And in Artisan Pro you can find it under Tools. There you have the Pro adjustments. So let me consider Artisan Max only for now. So first of all you have the normal adjustments that you can lighten and darken, and the selective adjustments. Normally I would only use normal adjustments if I'm creating masks. And I would always use selective adjustments when I'm trying to adjust an image in layer mode. So this is usually used for channel mode and this for layer mode. First of all, you have the option of doing a selective adjustment with Pro adjustments with auto blend off. Okay, auto blending is set to off. In that case, you have to use a restore, and that is something that you can find under depth. Those are the restore features. So, and you can only use a restore if you have a rectangular selection like such. So let me see, and now I'm gonna save this first, call it temp 3. Okay, and before I continue I have to duplicate that layer first. Okay, there's a selection, and what you can do now with auto blending off and then do a restore is lighten it. Let's say something like that. It looks like this. It doesn't look good, of course, but that's why you have to do the restore. So you go to depth and you do a restore from the bottom up, from the top down, from right to left, and from left to right, and then you have something like this. So if you turn it on and off, you see that it's a very smooth adjustment within that plane. That is one possibility. The other possibility is to not use a rectangular marquee tool and then in that case you have to use auto blending. So let's say you do something like this, and you want to lighten it. Let me do a light with the strength of 1. Oh, I forgot to duplicate this, the layer, but you can see it as such as well. So you can see that the adjustment is very smooth and it blends in smoothly with the rest of the environment. Okay, so that is those are 2 options already. One with the auto blending on and one with the auto blending off. Auto blending off means you have to use a rectangular marquee tool, then do a restore to blend it in smoothly. Auto blending on, you can use any kind of selection, but usually that would be a random lasso tool selection, because then you cannot do the restore. Usually I would only use the Pro adjustments in combination with a luminosity mask. So I would intersect a hard selection, like so, with a luminosity mask and then lighten or darken it. That's the power of the Pro adjustments. So let me show you that. And then I also have to evaluate the luminosity mask. I've already created them. If you want to know how to evaluate luminosity masks and how to use them, especially when you are intersecting a luminosity mask with a hard mask, then there's another video on my YouTube channel, and I will link to that YouTube video in the description. But let's say I want to do something within the lake. Here I want to add a little bit more light. So I think I can use lights 325 in that case. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new layer first. And now let me do the one with the auto blending first. So I'm just gonna roughly select the lake, set it to auto blending. I've already created a new layer, and now I'm gonna lighten it, but not before I've intersected it with the luminosity mask. There we go. You can ignore this warning message. It just means that you don't see the marching ants. And then you can lighten it. And usually I would go with 4 to 10 passes. Okay, those are around 7 passes. So let me show you before and after. This before, and this is after. Let me zoom in a little bit. So this is the area there. Before, after. Okay, that is one thing you can do with the Pro adjustments and with the auto blending on. You can also do with the auto blending off, and actually I prefer to do that because it gives you a little bit more control. It sounds a little bit as a contradiction that if you use the rectangular marquee tool, that it would give you more control, but it's my experience that it gives you a little bit more control. Create a new duplicate layer. Now I'm going to use the rectangular marquee tool, select this area. Okay, then I have to save that selection because I have to use it again. So call it temp 4, meaning that I have to remove that selection, that channel mask later on when I'm done. That's why I call it temp, for temporary. Okay, I've already created a new layer. Now I'm gonna load the selection, the luminosity mask selection, and we'll intersect that with this. Okay, and now I can do lighten. Auto blending is off, so I have to do restore later on, and again, usually something like anything up to 10 passes. All right, so let me deselect it now, show you before and after. And now, of course, you will have a harder edge around here, so I have to do the restore. Let me show you here. Well, it's not really visible, but there is surely an edge that I need to restore. So I'm going to select that temporary selection. That's number 4. Okay, and if you look closely, then perhaps you can see the edge somewhere around here. No, it's not visible because the thing is that it's already very subtle because of the use of luminosity mask with the hard selection. So now I have to do the restore. So I go to depth and do a restore from bottom up, top down, right to left, left to right. And now it's there. So this is before, after, before, after. Okay, I always prefer to use the Pro adjustments with the auto blending off, with the rectangular marquee tool, and then do restore. And I favor that to the one with the auto blending on, while I do random lasso tool selection. Those were the Pro adjustments, which is my favorite feature in the panel, and I always use that to do local adjustments. Another way of creating local adjustments is through adjustments and then advanced adjustments. And you can find it here in Artisan Max, and also in Artisan Pro you can find it under adjustments. There you have the advanced adjustments. So basically, advanced adjustments you can roughly select with the lasso tool any random area within the plane, and then you can darken and lighten it. So you have Smart Linear Default and the Smart Linear Strict. This means strict that it will not blend so much over the edge, but will stay within the edge, while Smart Linear Default will have more blending over the edge. So this is more natural, the Smart Linear Default, than the strict. Okay, here I can just turn off dynamic effects as well. So that is something that I've covered in another video, so I'm not going to use that. That's not available in the Artisan Pro. So here I can just darken and lighten it. I use the Smart Linear Default. Let's go with this one, and here you do not have to create a new duplicate layer. You can just click lighten, and then it will lighten. And you see that it will blend in smoothly with the rest of the area. I'm going to get rid of that. There's also the local contrast adjustments. Okay, so suppose that you want to lower the contrast here a little bit more, and you want to at the same time darken it, then you can click on low key. If you want to lower the contrast and make it not so dark, then mid key. If you want to lower the contrast and then make it lighter, then you can use the high key. But I'm going to use the low key, so you can basically use any random selection. And again, it will blend in smoothly automatically. And you do not have to create a new duplicate layer. Just click on low key. I've set the strength to 1. And you see now that that part has been darkened and at the same time lowered in contrast. Before, this is after, this is before. And this is after. So why would you use Pro adjustments where you have to duplicate the layer yourself and you have to do a restore with the restore tools, or you have to turn on the auto blending, while in advanced adjustments it will all happen automatically? Well, the big difference is that Pro adjustments can also be used for the creation of masks. That's why you have to duplicate the layer, because the panel doesn't know if you are working on a mask or on a layer. So you can use it in layer mode and in channel mode. Advanced adjustments can only be used in layer mode. So you cannot use advanced adjustments to create masks. So that's one important difference. The other difference is that advanced adjustments are not the right or correct feature to intersect with luminosity masks. So if you want to use luminosity masks and intersect them within a specific area within a plane, then it's better to use Pro adjustments, because there the Pro adjustments, they are built to intersect hard selections with luminosity masks and then do a lightening or a darkening. You can also try to do that with the advanced adjustments, but the effect of it will not be as visible as with the Pro adjustments. So advanced adjustments is only if you want to lighten or darken random areas in the sky without the use of luminosity masks, and you can only use it in layer mode, while Pro adjustments can also be used in channel mode. So those were the advanced adjustments. And finally, another feature to create local adjustments in a very smooth and seamless way within a specific plane is Micro Zone adjustments. So Micro Zone adjustments are actually pro adjustments and advanced adjustments in one, but then it will also allow you to intersect luminosity mask, but that will happen behind the scenes. So you do not have to evaluate luminosity mask yourself. You do not have to know anything about luminosity mask. You just take a sample of a specific zone. So let's say that so you make sure that you always are on the background, the original color layer for the most accurate samples. So suppose that I want to lighten this area again. So I take a few samples, and you see, if you look here in the RGB info box, you will see it's 170, around 164, 170. So then you have to go here, you look up around the zone where 170 is in, and that is this one, dark lights. I think I'm going to use that. So then again, you have to activate them. You can also activate multiple zones, by the way. Let's say Z8, so lighter zone. And if you look here, you see that they are highlighted by green. That means that those two zones are activated. You can also see it here. The activate button is grayed out, so you have to deactivate it. So now basically you can, so let me go back to zone 7 that I've sampled. So now you can basically use your lasso tool again. And then here you also have the default adjustments and the strict adjustments. So this is more natural, smoother, while this stays within the edge. I always like to go with this one. So make sure you're standing on the top layer, of course. And again, here you do not have to create a new layer yourself. It will be done automatically. Also, the blending will also be done automatically. So let me click here. Okay, one pass. Let me do 2 passes. See what we get then. All right. So this before, this is after. Before, after. So only the lighter tones that are in zone 7 will be lightened, as you can see. Okay, before, after. And there's always a smooth blended area around the former edge of the selection. So that is the microzone. To summarize, we have the Pro adjustments. There you can use auto blending on or off. I prefer to go with the auto blending set to off. In that case, you have to use the rectangular marquee tool, and you have to duplicate the layer yourself. It can be used in layer mode and in channel mode, but then if you use it in layer mode, you have to do the restore yourself. And you can only do a restore, that is located here, with a rectangular marquee tool, with a rectangular selection. Then you can also do the auto blending on, and then you can use basically any type of selection, and usually that would be a random selection like so with lasso tool, and that will create an automatic and beautiful smooth edge, so it will blend in smoothly with the rest of the area. And in that case you still have to duplicate the layer, and you can also use the Pro adjustments in combination with intersected luminosity mask. Then you have the advanced adjustments. So for this, you do not have to create a new layer yourself. It will be done automatically. Also, you do not have to turn on or off the auto blending, because the blending will be done automatically. But you cannot use it in channel mode. You can only use it in layer mode. And on top of that, the use of luminosity mask is very restricted here. You hardly see it. So it's better to use Pro adjustments if you want to use luminosity mask as well. And then we had the Micro Zone adjustments, which is basically sort of advanced adjustments, but then intersected with luminosity masks behind the scenes, so you do not have to know how those luminosity masks work. So you just click on activate or deactivate. In this case, I have to deactivate it, and then you can just create a random selection, and then this section will be lightened or darkened and automatically be intersected with the luminosity mask. A few final words. Let me go to global adjustments first. You can find it here under Artisan Pro under adjustments as well. So like I said, global adjustments can also be applied in a local way. So what do I mean with that? So for example, if I do a global adjustment, then usually you have to select the entire area, let's say like so, and then you can do something with it like lowering the contrast, do mid Q, high Q, or anything of those features that you have here. But you can also apply it in a local way. You can do it like so. So for example, I want to lower the contrast here and also at the same time darken it. And I can use global adjustments for that. So I can click on that on low key, but before I do that, I have to select save that selection, call it temp 3. I can do a low key, so it will automatically create a new layer, by the way. So the only situation where you have to duplicate the layer yourself is under Pro Adjustments. So under Global Adjustments, Advanced Adjustments, or Micro Zone Adjustments, it will be done automatically, the duplication of layers, but not under Pro Adjustments. So Global Adjustments, click on Low Key, do something like that. Then you see that the contrast has been lowered here and has been considerably darkened, but you see this strange edge, of course. So what you do then is go to Load Selection, and you load the temporary selection that you just saved, called temp 3. And now you can go to Restore, and then restore it from top down, like so. And then you see that I've applied that global adjustment in a local way. And I made it local by using a rectangular marquee tool and then do Restore. So just keep in mind, whenever you want to do Restore, you can do it anywhere in the panel. So you can do it with the global adjustment, with the advanced adjustments. You can do it with creating depth from bottom to top, top to bottom. In all those situations, you can use a Restore. It doesn't matter. The only caveat is that you have to have a selection that is more or less rectangular, at least with straight lines. Sometimes it doesn't have to be perfectly rectangular, but then the results aren't as good. So here, by the use of a rectangular marquee tool and Restore, I applied a global adjustment in a local way. So basically, this, what I just did with the global adjustments and low key with the rectangular marquee tool and a Restore, is basically the same as doing this. Let me roughly select that. And then go under Adjustments, Advanced Adjustments, and then do this. So this is local contrast decrease with an automatic blending mode on. So let me click on that. And you see that it's roughly a similar kind of effect. Darkened, lowered in contrast, and this is the other one. This is much darker because in this case I use a strength of 1, and under global adjustments I use a strength of well, I moved the slider all the way up to, I think it was 80 or 90%. So there are several ways of doing local adjustments, even with the global adjustment and even with the creating depth. From all the local adjustments, I prefer to do the Pro adjustments, where I have to duplicate the layer itself so that I can intersect it with the luminosity mask. I can turn the blending mode on or off. I can use a rectangular marquee tool and then use it with the Restore. I can basically do anything with the Pro adjustments. So Pro adjustments is my favorite tool, but if you do not have to use a luminosity mask and only want to darken the light in an area, then the advanced adjustments will suffice. So then this is good enough. So you do not have to turn on or off the auto blending mode. You do not have to create a duplicate layer yourself. And you also have the Micro Zone adjustments in case you still want to do some more detailed and refined kind of adjustment with luminosity mask, but you are not comfortable with luminosity mask, then use the Micro Zone adjustments. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching.